title fight. Silva, the Brazilian, 5 years younger than the American Dan Henderson. Silva will have a reach advantage. For the official introductions of our title fight, our main event from Columbus, once again, here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Two mixed martial arts warriors have now entered the world's ultimate proving ground for fighters to see who will leave the octagon tonight a UFC champion. This bout is sanctioned by the Ohio Athletic Commission with Executive Director Bernie Profano and commissioners in attendance Gene Weiss and Michael Chase. Our three judges scoring this contest are Nelson Hamilton, Cecil Peoples, and Jeff Mullen. And our physicians at Octagon side are Dr. Vern Reynolds and Dr. John Coca. When the action begins, our referee in charge of this contest is Herb Dean. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for has now become a reality. Live from the sold-out nationwide arena in Columbus, Ohio, it's time! 5 rounds for the undisputed UFC Middleweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist holding a professional record of 22 wins with 6 losses. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in at 184 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Temecula, California, he is the former 2-time Pride champion, Dan Henderson! And now, introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu fighter holding a professional record of 20 wins with 4 losses. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 185 pounds. Fighting out of Curitiba, Brazil, ladies and gentlemen, the reigning, defending UFC middleweight champion, Henderson, the Spider Silva! Anderson.
All right, gentlemen, protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. We're gonna have a nice, clean fight. Touch gloves. Let's give these people what they came to see.
Man, I can't wait for this. I was just saying, I have no idea what's gonna happen.
If I was at home right now, I'd be screaming obscenities at the TV.
Only one man will lead the UFC middleweight champion, and here we go!
No touch of gloves by Anderson.
Red, white, and blue trunks for Henderson, white on the back. The familiar colors of yellow and black for Anderson, the Spider Silva. A feeling out process early.
Both men very respectful of each other's skills.
And they should be. Kick by Henderson. Can Henderson stand up with Anderson Silva, Joe?
We're going to find out.
Yeah,
There's only one way to find out.
Exactly. Or should he, maybe, is the more appropriate question.
Well, one thing Anderson likes to do, and we saw it in the first fight with Rich Franklin, he likes to let guys throw some stuff and just moves around and lets you. He wants to just gauge your timing and try to figure out how fast you're moving, and then he attacks. Gives you some time, lets you do what you got to do, and then he comes on strong.
5 minutes for each of the 5 scheduled rounds.
But what he doesn't do is attack recklessly.
Inside leg kick. Henderson tried to come over the top. He ate an uppercut, though.
Blocked the high kick.
Henderson has some serious knockout power. He has never been knocked out. Silva is just so versatile.
Yeah, he will create some very unusual moves in the ring. One of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen, he knocked out Tony Strickland with the weirdest
There's
elbow
another
ever.
perfect example,
He threw
Joe.
an inside crescent kick. He threw an elbow that came up from the bottom. It came up, standing up towards the chin like an uppercut. It was crazy. Knocked him out cold.
Tried to come in from an odd angle there.
Big clinch and a takedown. And Anderson Silva is a legitimate black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the Nogueira brothers. So, interesting to see how he handles this position.
Well, this is certainly what Henderson wants to do. Impose his will, punish Silva, break him down. And he's one of the best in the world at doing so. Only 2 men have submitted Henderson, ironically, both the Nogueiras in Henderson's long career.
And both of those guys, much larger fighters.
Absolutely.
Henderson, that's how tough he is. He fought Minotauro, and Minotauro was 230. And Henderson, you know, barely weighs 200.
Henderson with the distance with Quentin Rampage Jackson in London, trying to unify the light heavyweight title. He was not able to capture the UFC belt. Rampage kept it. Now he gets a chance here at 85.
Those hammer fists, they don't look like much, but they're doing some damage. They're landing right in the temple over and over again. Anderson doing a good job of controlling Dan's posture, though, keeping him from landing anything else.
Seconds remains in round number 1.
Good elbow by Henderson.
Joe, Dan Henderson said that no disrespect to Silva's previous opponents, but he thought that all those guys were good matchups for Anderson Silva, just stylistically. And as you talked about, he feels like he's a bad matchup for him.
Well, yeah, I mean, stylistically, he's the worst matchup for him. I mean, he's certainly just unbelievably tough and a fantastic wrestler. Olympic caliber, world class.
Keeps covering the mouth, trying to disrupt the breathing pattern of Anderson Silva. Hammer fisting away. He's certainly the most perhaps punishing and powerful man that Silva has faced, especially here in the octagon.
He's passed here. If he, I mean, he really is inside control right there. He goes. Now
30 seconds. Good first round for Dan Henderson.
Phenomenal first round for Henderson. Anderson spins out, gets the guard
for position. We know Silva has submissions. We saw him work on a very good jiu-jitsu artist in Travis Luter. But the American opens up this fight in style.
Great round for Henderson.
Standing ovation here in Columbus. And there are the national team members.
They're pretty pumped. Let's take a look at why they're pumped. Dan got a hold of him, got a body lock, trips him, bang, gets on top, spent a little bit of time in half guard, then eventually moved to side control. Didn't land anything huge, but he landed a lot of these hammer fists, and then some more elbows and punches.
Sem importância, olha pra mim. Acredite na sua guarda. Abre, repõe e bota na guarda.
Grita, grita, pô.
Tô gritando, tô gritando.
Ó, em pé. Deixa eu te falar.
Somebody go get Chris Wilson and tell him to translate.
Absolutely.
His hips away from you on the ground. That was perfect. Good shot motion.
Limwood,
With everything on the ground. He was
dangerous
great.
185-pound fighter himself.
Let's go. On your toes, I need your feet forward, circle around.
Come on, get out, guys. Come on, get that stool. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Old school warrior, pardon me, against a multifaceted and dangerous striker and UFC middleweight champion. Set for round number 2.
Let's do it.
Good strikes early attempted by Anderson Silva. Attacking from a lot of different angles, as Joe talked about.
One of the beautiful things about this fight is that it's a 5-rounder as well. And I really get to see these guys guys stretch their game out.
And that's something that Henderson pointed to on frequent occasion, Joe, is that he's been in the 5-round wars where Silva has never seen one in his career, especially here in the UFC. I mean, he hasn't been out of the 2nd round inside the octagon.
That's a very good point, but he is in phenomenal condition.
No question.
I mean, he's so professional. You know, when I talked to Ed Soares, his manager, about his training regimen, the guy is just, he's the epitome of a professional.
Good head movement by Silva, trying to set up an attack.
Great leg kick, and Henderson lands a right hand over the top.
And finished with an uppercut. He has that devastating right hand as Dan Henderson.
He's eating some kicks, though. He's blocking these kicks in the arm. It's very dangerous.
Silva looking for top position.
Henderson drags him down, pulls guard. And that's a testament to the versatility of Dan Henderson. If he can't get to the fight to the ground by a takedown, he'll just pull guard and just have some faith in his ability to control the fight once he gets a hold of his body.
There aren't many skills, if any, that these men don't possess. Middleweight title fight, Henderson and Silva.
This is also the first training camp that Dan Henderson did at Big Bear.
Yep.
Which should be significant as well because he trained at altitude, and so he should have a lot more oxygen to use for this fight. And as Anderson is a very difficult opponent to train for, so is Dan Henderson. Very difficult to find a wrestler with that kind of punching power.
And this Greco clinch.
Yeah, and that's really significant as well, is that he's got the perfect style of wrestling. The Greco-Roman style seems to be the best style to adapt to mixed martial arts. Good right hand by Henderson.
Watch him with that knee. He caught him. And another one. Henderson's in trouble. Henderson slides under. Silva looking to finish. He caught him with a big knee. And big elbow by Anderson Silva. Silva got his clinch, and he delivered a quick knee, a devastating knee. Anderson Silva now working in Henderson's half guard.
Henderson trying to regroup, trying to control Anderson here. Every time he lets him go, though, every time he loses control of his posture, it's dangerous.
Under 2 minutes remains in the 2nd round. Fight scheduled for 5 5-minute rounds. Middleweight title on the line here tonight, Joe.
Henderson's in half guard right now, but it's a very loose half guard. There's nothing really keeping Anderson Silva's leg in there. Well, now he's got it locked down.
Let's work. Let's work.
Good 2nd round for the UFC champion.
He's got Dan's back here.
A lot of time to work. Oh, trying to work his way up with an elbow is Dan Henderson.
Dan's got to be careful. He's back mounted. He's in deep trouble here.
Silva's got the hooks in, Joe. This is big trouble for Dan Henderson.
If he flattens Dan out, Dan's in real big trouble.
Silva looking.
Body triangle.
To finish Henderson here.
This is real bad because he's squeezing and he restricts Dan's breathing.
This is where we are reminded again that this man is much more than a striker.
Now this is even worse because he flattens him out.
25 seconds remains.
He can submit people from this position alone without even the choke. Dan's
20
in
seconds
deep
remain.
trouble.
Silva trying to finish it. Anderson Silva looking to choke out
Dan's in
Henderson.
deep trouble. He's done it.
Anderson Silva remains the UFC middleweight champion.
How versatile is that guy? The one guy that we thought would be his biggest challenger, and he doesn't even get out of the 2nd round. Man!
After an outstanding round number 1 turned in by Henderson, Silva got a dominant position, and it all started with that Muay Thai clinch Joe in the knee. And then he was able to methodically finish this fight.
This is a huge victory, and the way he dominated Henderson, Henderson's never been dominated like that, including by UFC light heavyweight champion Quentin Rampage Jackson. Now here's the end of the fight. Dan's in big trouble here. Anderson gets the hooks in, sinks it, flattens him out, starts landing punches, and then when he flips him over and gets that body triangle, that was the beginning of the end. That body triangle constricts the breathing, and Dan's in just deep, deep trouble here. Forced to tap.
Man, he was trying to hold on, just seconds remained, but it was either tap or pass out. Henderson Silva.
How good is that guy? And who is the challenger now?
Well, you know what? You beat me to the punch, buddy, because we all said that Henderson was the best suited. He came down from 205, but now you wonder, who is the next man at 185 who can even challenge Anderson Silva and his tremendous reign as UFC middleweight champion?
It was a great fight.
You won the first round, man.
He's a great warrior still, though. One of the best of all time. Dan Henderson, defeated in round number 2. Silva remains the champion. Bruce Buffer with the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 4 minutes, 52 seconds of the second round, declaring the winner by tap out due to a rear naked choke, and still the UFC middleweight champion of the world, Anderson the Spider Silva!
Silva is the best in the world at 185 pounds. The victor and Ed Soros are with Joe Rogan.
All right, I am here with the winner.
And the loser. Hey, nice job, Anderson. I think you're the true champion.
That's why this sport is the greatest in the world right now. What a great show of class by Henderson. Silva.
Congratulations.
He's a gentleman, man.
Good job, man. Parabéns, campeão.
He's one heck of a champ. Here's Joe.
All right, I'm here with the winner, Anderson Silva, and his translator. Anderson, coming into this fight, it was thought that Dan Henderson would be your toughest challenge. But now, after this fight, it's very difficult to think of what's the next challenge.
Ele falou, entrando nessa luta, todo mundo pensava que o Henderson era o teu adversário mais difícil. Agora o quê? O que mais tem?
Pô, não desmerecendo o Dan Henderson, mas eu, graças a Deus, tive a oportunidade de lutar contra um dos melhores e maiores campeões da história nessa categoria, que foi o Rich Franklin. Então, para mim, o maior e melhor campeão dessa categoria, ainda eu sendo campeão, é o Rich Franklin.
He said, not taking anything away from Dan Henderson. He came, he fought very well, but in his mind, the real champion other than himself that he's faced in this octagon has been Rich Franklin. And not to take anything away from Dan Henderson, though.
Was he surprised that he was able to submit Dan Henderson and control him on the ground so easily?
Era uma surpresa o que se deu para controlar o Dan Henderson e finalizar ele no chão.
Não. Antes de eu pensar em lutar, o Dan Henderson já era campeão. Já era um grande atleta. E eu treino para lutar com os melhores. Eu tenho os melhores professores, os melhores amigos do mundo. Né, Curitiba? Né, Vidal? Né, Pequeno? É isso aí, Penão, toda a galera lá. Então, o resto é mole.
He said, not really. I mean, it doesn't surprise him at all. He says, when Dan was already a champion, he just started training to fight. So he wants to train and fight against the best, and that's what he's done.
Please tell him to talk us through the replay for a finish that not only lets him retain his title, but solidifies him as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
Fala, explica o fim da luta aí.
O fim da luta, pô, graças a Deus eu treinei com a galera boa, com os meus amigos, os meus preparadores físicos, o Madison, o Rogerão Camões. Valeu, Rogerão! Aí, a força tava sinistra. Madison, não tem jeito, vocês são foda. Obrigado, galera. Thank you for your support, Ohio. I love you, Ohio. I love you, America. I love you, teammate. Valeu, pai. Eu te amo, viu? Apesar da distância. Amo você, pai. Beijo. Valeu.
He just said, he trains with the best people in the world, and that's what he all owes it to. It's hard to really explain. He says you can watch and see. He thanked all his trainers in Brazil and everyone that helped him prepare for the fight.
Congratulations on an unbelievable performance. Anderson Silva, ladies and gentlemen.
Silva unifies the championship, defeating the Pride champion, Dan Henderson. Classy Dan Henderson with Joe Rogan.
Challenger Dan Henderson, obviously you're disappointed. Give us your thoughts on the fight.
My hat's off to Anderson Silva. He was definitely the better fighter tonight. Controlled him well and beat him up a little bit that first round, and he came back ready to get after me the second round. So my hat's off to him, and just kind of dazed me a little bit when I got on the ground and caught me in a choke.
What was your game plan coming into this fight, and where do you think it went wrong?
I needed to control the stand-up a little bit better. I didn't pressure him that much. Should have kept him on the defense a little more, and I kind of let him get his offense going by standing there a little too much. So my game plan, I didn't execute it well enough, I think.
Well, Dan, you're a great fighter. It's always an honor to watch you perform. I'm sure everybody here wants to see you fight again.
Hey, I want to say thank you to all the fans here in Ohio. It was a hell of a lot of excitement and energy coming out here, and although it didn't turn out my way, I definitely appreciate that.
We can't wait to see you again. Dan Henderson, ladies and gentlemen.
And he will be back. A warrior still, one of the best ever in this game of mixed martial arts. But tonight he is defeated by the man who seems to be, if there is the possibility, unbeatable at this point in his career. Anderson Silva retains the title. Anderson Silva solidifies himself as the best 100.